Tommy London, hanging here with Tomas Costanza from the band DIFFUSER, who has a huge show coming up on Long Island at Mulcahy's on September 7th. And it's so good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Swinging by the Lightning Lounge.
Love the Lightning Lounge, and I love listening to you on SiriusXM. We love Ozzy's Boneyard, my family, my friends, so thanks for having me.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man.
Now you have a big show coming up, Rock the Spectrum.
We do, yes.
On the 7th there of September. Tell us a little bit about Rock the Spectrum.
Okay, so last October I had an Oktoberfest party at my house in LA. My friend Mike Somber from New York was out on business in Los Angeles. After the party, we sort of like just chopping it up, having some beers, listening to some DIFFUSER. And he was like, hey man, have you ever thought about, reuniting? And I was like, you know what, actually next year will be the 25th anniversary of Injury Loves Melody, our first album.
Great record.
So we thank you. And the band, we had been talking about it, but our bass player had some health issues, so we were on the fence about it. Then he started sharing with me some stories about his son, Teddy, who is autistic, and started basically educating me a little bit on autism. And I was really captivated by it. And then the next day I was thinking about it. I was like, if DIFFUSER's gonna do a reunion, why not do it for Michael and his wife Gina's organization called Families for Inclusion. I spoke to the band, they were all into it. Spoke to Michael and Gina, they were all about it. They were like, this is great. And then we're like, all right, what are we gonna do? How are people actually gonna come? Because we haven't played in 22 years.
Right.
So we're gonna do 200 people, 300 people, 400 people. So we were like, well, there's gonna be 400 people there. We don't want them to be crushed. Like, what are we gonna do? My brother-in-law, Frankie, introduced me to the owner of Mulcahy's in Wantagh on Long Island.
On Long Island.
On Long
In
Island.
Manhattan, on Long Island. If you're not from New York, that was a lesson right there.
So we met with the owner, and he was like, look, we want the show. We want to be a part of it. We want to help. And they brought in John Thiessen, who is, he has this company that does auctions. They raise a lot of money for different charities. And we were like, okay, this is great. And then we're like, uh-oh, it holds 1,600 people.
Wow, that's a lot.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So at that point, I wanted to get Stella Spinakos involved. Stella was actually my social studies teacher in high school, but we kept in touch throughout the years. She was like that teacher that essentially changed the trajectory of my life. So she has an autistic son named Nicholas, and she founded the Nicholas Center, which is a school for autistic kids on Long Island in Port Jefferson. So I went and visited the Nicholas Center, spent some time with the kids and Stella, and I said, Stella, you want to be a part of this? So together with Stella, Gina, and my wife, Janine, we decided to, put a show together called Rock the Spectrum, which is a charity event that we're planning to do every year, an annual event. And the proceeds will go to Families for Inclusion and the Nicholas Center. And we're excited, man. It's going to be great, dude.
Great. Now, when was the last time you guys jammed together?
Good question. Well, we jammed together like a couple of weeks ago because we're prepping for the show.
Right.
But before that, we hadn't played in 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it feel to get with the guys? I'm assuming you keep in touch with the guys, right, as friends and whatnot, but to get in the room and to play together on those songs, how did it feel to revisit them?
All right, great question. You know how it is when you first get into a band, right? It's like you have blinders on. The objective is to have a career, be famous, make money, tour the world, and just feel comfortable doing what you love, right? So there's a lot of ego involved. Getting back together with the guys after so long, it was so refreshing and magical to just sit in a room with the guys and play music with these guys you shared a musical vision with 25 years ago, 30 years ago even, which led us, into discussions about recording another album, which is coming out on August 23rd. It's called The Encore. And making music with these guys after 22 years with no pressure, no obligation, just straight making music was such an amazing musical journey, man. And the record actually is so solid. I was amazed. I was terrified at first, but it sounds great, man.
So you didn't go into this to make a record. You were going this for the cause.
Right.
You're an activist for autism.
Right.
And it just snowballed into music and with the band and that's amazing as well, how all these different branches came from this one tree.
Yeah, it's great. And it's brought so much joy into my life and everyone else around it. But yeah, man, to get into a room with your old friends and just play music again, it feels great.
And you know, I heard that you got some special guests that are going to be at this show as well. Can you announce those guests?
We can't announce the
Okay.
special guests, but there are special guests coming. We have a few people in particular. Yeah, we're pretty psyched, man. We do have two bands from Long Island that will also be playing with us, Madison Prep and Wired. Both of those bands are celebrating their 20th reunions as well.
Oh, wow.
From their first album. And believe it or not, those two bands, they were the first two records I produced on Long Island 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be great to get together with Madison Prep and the guys in Wired again and just share like a magical night with everyone. I'm psyched, man.
One huge reunion
Are you
for
gonna be
everyone.
there?
I'm going to be there.
All right.
We're all going to be there.
Yes.
September 7th. Mulcahy's on Long Island.
On Long Island.
We'll see you there. Thanks for swinging by the
Thanks,
lightning
dude.
round, buddy.
Love it, buddy.
Love it.
Thanks.